What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, so we can keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews as possible. And today we have the honor and privilege of again being joined by Master Ace. Thank you for coming through, sir.
What's up, Soren? What's going on?
Always a pleasure, man. So, Richmond Hill, the new project is out. If people haven't supported it yet, please do. Uh, Great album, great album. We're going to be talking about a lot of that today. And we've already talked about some of it, but we got more to talk about. So, Ace, with Below the Clouds that features Blue, I was intrigued because Above the Clouds with Gangster has Inspector Deck, and then you have Hero that has Inspector Deck,
Right,
but you
right.
don't have him on. So, how, and why did that end up happening, or is that pure, utter coincidence you didn't realize till later?
Nah, it was so Hero was made way before Above the Clouds was made. Below the Clouds was made.
Below the Clouds, yeah.
Before Hero was made way before that. And so once we once I started formulating the idea for Below the Clouds, I was like, man, I could have had Deck on this, but it worked out. Trust me, it worked out perfectly. Uh, the way it was supposed to. We glad we got Blue on it. There's actually a version with Talib Kweli on it, which will be on the deluxe version. So look out for that as well.
Well, that's exciting. So, how and why did you pick Blue?
Marco Marco suggested Blue, um, and I familiarized myself with him. I like the fact that he was a West Coast artist because I haven't really collaborated with a lot of West Coast artists. I like the fact that he's a West Coast artist. I like the fact that Blue and Exile are constantly touring in Europe. Whenever we're over there, we either see the flyer that they're coming the next week or they were there the week before us, but they're always over there the same way we are. So it all kind of made sense that somebody like him who is constantly in Europe touring the way we are. So I know that maybe we'll even bump heads and be out there at the same time and get to even do the song together. Who knows? But I thought it made sense. I heard the bars. I'm like, yo, he's dope. He's nice. Let's see if he's interested. Because a lot of times you reach out to people and they don't have time or they got other things going on. So he floated the idea and he said, yo, he said he's down. I'm like, okay, let's make it happen then.
Okay. And then
Yeah,
what is the because Below the Clouds you were like dudes don't belong up here with us, nah, stay down there. So
yeah.
break down the literal and the metaphorical sense of what you're talking about.
So it's kind of like a subliminal message to young rappers that they want to be at they want to be at the top. They want to start at the top. They got their heads so high in the clouds that they think, everybody thinks they're gonna, you know, make it rich off music. They think they're gonna be the next big thing. Everybody's the next big thing. Everybody's about to be that guy. I'm the next guy. And when you live with your head in the clouds, you can't see reality. So this was a reality check for all of those that had their heads so high up in the clouds that they can't see what's really going on. So I'm reminding them to stay below the clouds where they belong.
Gotcha. Okay. And then you also are talking about choosing to stand and fight while you choose to run. That seems a little different type of messaging. So what does that mean? Or how does that relate, I guess, in the context of the rest of the song, I guess?
I'm the type to stand and fight while you choose to run. I'm just basically talking about my my makeup, how I'm built. I'm built for the situation. If things got hairy and scary, I'm gonna stand and deal. And you're the type that when things get rough and tough, you're gonna take off and leave. And that's all it is. It's just a comparison, me to you. I'm comparing me to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing I've always appreciated about you and your music, and then getting to know you and talk to you so much over the years, is you've always seemed to be a very observant type of person. Take a look around for good, for instance, taking it back. But on Heat of the Moment, you talk about that. Why would you sell your soul for 30 racks? And the thing about it is, knowing some of your story growing up and seeing different things and then talking to you extensively about that, uh, did you understand super early on that type of reality, or seeing people make these terrible mistakes when you were super young, that even then you were like, man, why are they doing this? It seems like something they're getting is big, but it's really not big and they're losing so much.
Yeah, so they say hindsight is 2020. Definitely, I'm speaking from experience of seeing those bad bad decisions being made by others, um, selling their souls for what they think is the big payday, not realizing that if they had leveraged themselves in a different way, that it could have been life changing. And for a lot of short sighted brothers, you know, they'll take 30K right now versus, 2.3 potentially if they make the right deal. And so it was just it's more hindsight, 2020 hindsight that I'm speaking from. No specific, incident. A lot of times I just throw what I call thought provoking, ideas into lyrics to create conversations, to you know, to start conversations. I'll just say certain stuff so that we can talk about it when we have these interviews like this and talk about what that all means, because that line could mean something completely different to another person that hears it. So there's not one solid meaning for it, but it definitely, I think, will create dialogue and create conversation, and that's what we need to do. Talk about these things.
Yeah. And on also on Heat of the Moment, you talk about want to be the opposite of old and poor. Um, so, you know, how and why did you come to that one?
Well, I mean, I was talking about when we were younger and we were coming up in the game. We wanted to be young and rich. Um, but it's so cliche to say we wanted to be young and rich. To me it was more interesting to say we want to be the opposite of old and poor. So it doesn't sound as cliche, but it still sounds cool.
And the value of getting old, I think, is uh as people get older, they appreciate their age more and more because obviously
Definitely.
they're still alive. But for you, what has getting older, what surprised you about it now that you have been in the game a long time, you are older in life? What's something that surprised you about getting into your 50s?
Well, let me just say this first. When I was in my 20s, I went to Chuck D's birthday party. They had like a block party, birthday party for Chuck D on Long Island. And Chuck was turning 33 years old. And I remember being at that party saying, 33? He's mad old. Yo, he's old. I remember saying that, like the mindset that 33 in my mind at that time was so old. Like the idea of rapping at 33, I couldn't even it didn't even register. So I can only imagine what rappers in their 20s would say about somebody like me at 57 still putting out albums. Like it must be like granddad's putting out albums. What is he doing? Like why is granddad still rapping? Um I've come to appreciate growing older. I've come to appreciate, the experiences that life has given me, the knowledge that I've been able to pick up along the way. Um And appreciate the mistakes that you make along the way as well. I embrace the age that I am. I embrace my position um, in this culture, and what I just try to do is continue to be a contributor through the music, through the messages, through the writing, and hopefully I'm contributing positively as opposed to negatively. And those are questions that each artist has to ask themselves because you're really doing either one or the other. Are you contributing to society and to the culture positively, or is the only positive to your personal gain? And then if you're not, if you can't say yes, I'm contributing positively in these ways, then the opposite must be true. And so some there are some artists out there that are comfortable and fine. They don't care. They literally don't care if they're contributing negatively to the society and to the culture, and that's unfortunate. We just need to, as fans, make and record buyers and supporters, make sure that we're not the ones financing financing those artists to keep them doing that. If those records don't sell, trust me, if those records don't sell, those artists won't make those records anymore. They'll find something else to rap about. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
for sure. And with Heat of the Moment too, you talk about even overseas is worse. And you obviously tour and have had for a long time a big following overseas. So yes, things are crazy and terrible and wild here in the United States, as we're both well aware. Uh, but what made you want to acknowledge that things elsewhere aren't exactly so great either?
Because I thought when I was growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, I thought I knew what poverty was. I thought I knew what poverty looked like. I had no idea. I had no idea. Uh, Poverty. We don't know. We don't really know poverty in the United States. Our poorest community in the United States is amazing compared to some of the places that I've been to and that I've seen in, for example, South America, Brazil, um, you know, parts of Europe, in Eastern Bloc countries and stuff like that. Like we have no concept of poverty in the U.S. So it was just a way for me to kind of acknowledge, like, yeah, we think it's bad. It's actually worse than what we think it is. It's actually worse worldwide.